Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, Elon Musk is mathematically cornering $1 trillion. San Francisco real estate is running on a shadow currency. And we're asking if the smartest people in tech have developed a full-blown God complex.
Yeah, it's a massive day on the wire, and the underlying data is flashing some very weird signals today.
Totally. So we're your daily pulse check on markets and culture. And today we are diving into a really wild stack of sources.
Oh, absolutely wild.
Right. We've got prediction market data, viral Zillow listings, even like niche satellite imagery. And we're using all of this to figure out how massive tech valuations are fundamentally warping our physical reality.
It's all bleeding into the real world.
Exactly. So we're going to start with the highest stakes financial stories on the board, dig into the frontier AI distortion field, and then look at how these macro shifts are hitting actual human beings. So let's just get right into it.
Let's do it.
There is this viral chart dominating the timeline today from the prediction market handle at Kelshi.
Oh, I saw this, yeah.
Yeah. So they are currently pricing in a 90% chance that Elon Musk becomes a trillionaire before 2027.
90% odds on $1 trillion. I mean, that's an astronomical level of certainty for an inherently chaotic system, you know?
It is, but look at the ecosystem fueling that certainty, right? Like Forbes and Bloomberg currently peg his net worth somewhere between 728 and $850 billion.
Right, which is already, staggering.
Right, but the massive catalyst pushing him over the edge is this rumored $1.75 trillion SpaceX IPO that's supposedly happening this June, and the hype machine is just operating at maximum capacity.
Oh, the hype is out of control.
It really is. You've got at Sawyer Merritt highlighting this rabid demand for a new $236 or like 1,499 yuan retractable sunshade for the Tesla Model Y in China.
Wait, a sunshade?
Literally a sun visor. People are begging for a global launch of a sun visor. And then at the same time, you have the official at SpaceX account just posting a meme.
A meme for a corporate announcement.
Yeah. It's a meme of a cat in a hard hat slamming a red Launch button, and that was for a 24 Starlink satellite deployment from California.
Okay, so see, the problem with a 90% probability on a prediction market like Kelshi is that it's based on retail order flow and momentum.
Right.
It's not necessarily fundamental market mechanics. I think we have to look at the second-order effects of how Musk's wealth is actually structured.
Which is incredibly complex.
Exactly. This isn't cash sitting in a high-yield savings account. It's tied up in highly illiquid stakes. He owns 42% of SpaceX.
Which is huge.
Huge. And he has massive holdings in XAI, his artificial intelligence startup, and of course Tesla. So if you are buying into those 90% odds, you are basically pricing in operational perfection across multiple highly regulated, wildly volatile industries.
Okay, but I kind of have to push back on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, are we really pricing in perfection? Or is the market just finally pricing in the sheer gravity of his ecosystem? I mean, retail investors don't care about liquidity lockup periods or, SEC scrutiny.
They definitely don't read the SEC filings, yeah.
They buy the narrative. It's like trying to price the volatility of a religion. When the SpaceX account posts a cat meme to announce a multi-million-dollar satellite launch, they are bypassing traditional financial analysis entirely.
Well, that's a fair point about the narrative, but you can't bypass the SEC indefinitely.
Sure.
If that $1.75 trillion SpaceX IPO gets delayed by regulatory scrutiny or, if there's a sudden macroeconomic shock that tightens capital markets, the paper wealth it evaporates incredibly fast.
Right. It's all on paper.
You cannot dump 10% of SpaceX on the open market to shore up cash without absolutely tanking the underlying valuation. The key man risk here is really just unprecedented in modern financial history.
Yeah, that is incredibly true. Now, while the market is happily riding the chaotic momentum of the Musk ecosystem, let's look at a company that is desperately trying to engineer the exact opposite.
The kings of stability.
Apple. They're currently spending massive PR capital to convince regulators the market is totally stable. Marc Gurman posted this incredibly revealing photo of Tim Cook and the incoming CEO, John Ternus.
Oh, this photo is amazing.
It's so staged. They are meeting with the European Parliament President, Roberta Metsola, and Gurman sarcastically points out that they are aggressively pushing a continuity narrative.
Oh, it's so heavy-handed.
Cook and Ternus are dressed in matching dark jackets, adopting identical poses. It is perfectly choreographed ahead of that September 1st, 2026 handover.
It's corporate PR as performance art, basically.
Completely.
But look at who they are meeting with. They aren't doing this matching outfit routine for Wall Street.
Right, it's not an earnings call.
No, they are doing it for a European regulator. Apple is under immense regulatory pressure in the EU with the Digital Markets Act forcing them to, open up their app store.
Which they hate doing.
They despise it. So they need lawmakers to believe that absolutely nothing is changing structurally when Cook steps down to become executive chairman.
Right, but I'm not entirely convinced it's just a PR stunt. I mean, Turnus has been at Apple for over a decade.
True.
He's currently the senior vice president of hardware engineering. Isn't it highly likely he is just fully indoctrinated into Cook's operational mindset? Like, assuming the first officer on a massive cruise ship is suddenly going to try and drive it like a speedboat.
I see the logic there, but
He grew up in Cook's system,
he
right?
did. But hardware engineering and supply chain operations are two fundamentally different brains.
Okay, how so?
Well, Tim Cook built the operational machine that optimized the margins on the iPhone. He is a logistics genius.
Right, the supply chain king.
Exactly. John Turnus is a hardware guy. When you put a hardware guy in charge, his intrinsic motivation is to build new things. It's to disrupt.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just to optimize the supply chain for the iPhone 17. The matching outfit stunt feels like a way to pacify the European regulators and calm the markets while Apple secretly prepares a massive strategic hardware pivot behind the scenes.
Wow, so the matching suits are essentially camouflage.
Basically, yeah.
That's a fascinating read.
Yeah.
Now, while Apple is projecting this image of total stability, the AI sector is proving how unhinged the actual economy has become.
Oh, it's totally off the rails.
At Polymarket highlighted this Zillow listing for a $2.995 million three-bedroom home in San Francisco's Duboce Triangle.
Nearly $3 million for a three-bedroom. Insane.
Classic SF. But the listing explicitly states that the seller will consider Anthropic or OpenAI stock as payment.
This is where the macroeconomics get completely absurd. We are basically reverting to a barter economy for the elite.
It's totally wild. Polymarket gives OpenAI a 75% chance of IPOing first, by the way.
Right.
But I want to understand the mechanics of this. You're trying to buy a physical house with unvested pre-IPO equity. How does that transaction even clear escrow?
It's a nightmare.
It's like walking into a grocery store and trying to buy milk with casino chips that might be worth $100 next year, or they might be worth absolute zero.
Exactly. The transaction requires specialized lawyers, dark pool valuations, and these really complex forward contracts. But let's zero in on why this is happening.
Yeah.
You have a massive cohort of tech workers in San Francisco who are theoretically incredibly wealthy.
Right. On paper.
On paper, they are holding highly valued shares in frontier AI labs. But those shares are totally illiquid. You can't pay your property taxes with them.
You can't buy groceries with them?
Right. So they are paper rich but cash poor in one of the most inflated housing markets on the planet.
So out of sheer desperation to access liquidity, they are turning real estate into a secondary market.
Precisely. And when a house becomes a speculative bet on an unreleased IPO, the housing market stops being about shelter. It becomes a derivative of the tech sector. If you are a home seller taking Anthropic stock for your three-bedroom house, you aren't selling real estate anymore.
What are you doing?
You are a venture capitalist making a highly leveraged, high-risk bet on an AI startup's liquidity event.
And if that IPO window shuts, you just traded a $3 million hard asset for restricted shares in a private company.
Poof.
Gone.
That requires an insane amount of faith in these AI companies, which honestly leads perfectly into the psychology of the people running these frontier labs.
Oh, the hubris.
There's a clip going viral from at the All In Pod where investor Bill Gurley absolutely goes in on Anthropic's leadership.
He didn't hold back.
Not at all. Specifically, he targets CEO Dario Amode's essay Machines of Loving Grace. Gurley calls it a Dr. Frankenstein theory.
Yep.
He accuses Anthropic of genuinely believing they're midwifing a deity to perfectly allocate resources to humans rather than, just building a software product. The narcissism involved here is just staggering. And Gurley is completely right to highlight the danger of it. Look at the title itself. Machines of Loving Grace.
It's very biblical.
It explicitly implies a benevolent overlord watching over humanity.
Yeah, in the clip, Jason Calacanis echoed that, calling it a delusion of grandeur. But let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
If you are sitting on compute power that can synthesize the entirety of human knowledge in seconds, isn't it almost impossible not to develop a savior complex.
I mean, it might be a natural psychological trap, sure, but it fundamentally warps their view of regulation, market competition, and just basic corporate ethics.
Oh, so.
Think about it. If you believe you are creating a superior species that will literally save humanity from itself, you can easily justify breaking any rule,
Right.
ignoring any copyright law, or crushing any competitor in your way, because the ends always justify the means. You stop seeing yourself as a tech executive accountable to a board.
And start seeing yourself as a messiah. And yet, the reality of how these tools are actually being built and deployed on the ground completely undercuts that messiah narrative.
It's so messy behind the scenes.
We have some fantastic data contrasting the God-building hubris with the messy reality in the industry. On the positive side, at Paul Graham argued that CEOs have to be knee-deep in using AI themselves.
Right. No outsourcing.
He warns that delegating AI strategy to a head of AI is a massive risk. And at Marc Andreessen backed this up with a really interesting story about a mathematician named John Ennis.
Oh, the Codex story.
Yeah. Ennis ran an AI agent called Codex for over 70 hours straight on open problems in differential geometry.
Which is a brilliant use case. But let's break down how Codex actually works.
Okay.
It's a large language model trained on vast amounts of code and mathematical proofs. It generates hypotheses and writes scripts incredibly fast, but it hallucinates.
Right, it makes things up.
It doesn't actually understand differential geometry. It's predicting the next logical token in a sequence.
Which is exactly why Ennis had to manage it. The AI didn't just solve the problem while he slept.
No, not at all.
It required constant human direction, verification, and insight to keep the math from drifting into total nonsense. The AI is a powerful forklift for the mind, but it still needs a human driver.
Right. It's a tool, not a deity. But the irony deepens when you look at the human systems that are trying to build these tools.
Oh, the human systems are completely broken.
Completely.
At Tenebris shared an article by Steve Yegg revealing the reality of Google's hiring committee.
This was painful to read.
It really was. So Google once did a calibration exercise where they reviewed anonymized hiring packets. A packet is basically the collection of interview feedback scores and coding test results.
Right, standard big tech stuff.
So they took past packets of their currently employed top-performing engineers, anonymized them, and ran them back through the committee.
Yeah.
The committee rejected 2/3 of them. They literally wouldn't have hired their own best people.
The highly optimized, algorithmically driven human resources machine at one of the most powerful tech companies on Earth is essentially functioning as a random number generator.
It's like an autoimmune disease for corporate HR.
That's a great way to put it.
The system has become so hyper-optimized and rigid that it's attacking its own healthy cells. And it gets worse.
Oh, there's more.
At Crew, the creator of an open-source tool called Better Off, posted a screenshot of a Google search for his own tool.
Okay.
Right at the top of the results is a massive sponsored ad from Okta, a multi-billion-dollar incumbent trying to siphon his organic traffic. His caption was just a sarcastic, public company BW.
See, I want to synthesize these 3 data points because they capture the glaring hypocrisy of Silicon Valley right now.
Yeah, piece it together.
You have an industry telling the public they are engineering autonomous digital gods that will usher in a utopia of perfect resource allocation.
Right, the Messiah complex.
But in reality, the incumbents are so fragile and threatened by a single independent developer that they have to buy keyword ads to squash him. And their internal evaluating metrics are so deeply flawed, they reject their own top talent.
If you're listening to this deep dive and feeling a bit of whiplash, I mean, that's the point.
Total cognitive dissonance.
We are expecting this industry to re-engineer human society, but they are currently relying on broken heuristics and anti-competitive ad buys just to survive their own quarterly earnings calls.
It's pathetic, really.
So let's step out of the digital distortion field for a minute and look at the physical world. Real physics and human biology are reacting to this hyper-acceleration in some fascinating ways.
Finally, some reality.
At Vala Afshar shared a dramatic high-speed crash video of a professional motorcyclist.
This video was insane.
The rider goes down hard on the asphalt at over 100 miles an hour, but they are saved by an instantly deploying full-body airbag suit.
The mechanics of that suit are an incredible feat of physical engineering. It uses an IMU, an inertial measurement unit.
Okay, what does that do?
It's packed with accelerometers and gyroscopes that are calculating the rider's position thousands of times a second.
Wow.
When it detects the specific G-force signature of a crash, Microprocessors trigger CO2 canisters to inflate the protective cushions in mere milliseconds, like faster than the human brain can even process the fall.
That is incredible. But watching the video, you realize you can't software patch the laws of physics.
No, you cannot.
The kinetic energy still exists. It has to go somewhere. So the suit stops the internal organs from rupturing, but the sheer violence of the tumbling means that Ryder is likely still walking away with snapped collarbones or shattered wrists.
Yeah, the physical world always extracts a toll.
Always. And on the topic of the physical world asserting itself, at Patrick Collison posted a brilliant observation about New York City.
This was super interesting.
He used specialized satellite imagery, specifically GHSL, which maps global human settlement layers, and ESA European Space Agency land-covered data.
Heavy-duty data sets.
Yeah, and he used this data to prove that New York City has an anomalously high tree cover for such a dense urban environment, especially compared to cities on the West Coast.
Right, which goes against the concrete jungle stereotype.
Exactly. He attributes it to 19th century marginal farmland around the East Coast being abandoned, leading to aggressive natural reforestation fueled by the region's heavy natural rainfall.
The contrast here is what's really important. Modern, hyper-funded urban planners in places like Los Angeles are spending billions of dollars on artificial irrigation and tree planting initiatives trying to engineer green, livable cities.
Throwing money at the problem.
And yet, they completely fail to recreate what a lack of human intervention and natural precipitation accomplished in New York over a century ago.
Wow.
Sometimes the most sophisticated engineering solution is just stepping back and letting nature reclaim the space.
It's a humbling reality check for the whole builder mindset. And speaking of humbling reality checks, let's talk about human spectacle.
Let's do it.
In an era where AI can write code for 70 hours straight and generate infinite synthetic videos, what actually captures our attention?
It's not the AI.
No.
Yeah.
At Fabrizio Romano reported that the 2025-26 UEFA Champions League final between Arsenal and PSG went to a penalty shootout in Budapest after a 1-1 draw in extra time. Pure, unscripted tension.
You can't fake that.
And simultaneously, at MKBHD is hyping up Victor Wembanyama in the NBA playoffs. He's in his third season, a 7'4" human being executing point guard crossovers.
This is the cultural counter-trend to literally everything we've discussed today.
How so?
Well, AI can simulate a million tactical outcomes for that soccer match. It can generate a hyper-realistic video of a 7'4" player hitting a three-pointer, but it cannot replicate the visceral, collective human anxiety of watching a real person step up to take a penalty kick in a Champions League final.
Because the physical stakes are real. If he misses, his heart actually breaks.
Precisely. As digital abundance and algorithmic content approach infinity, unscripted physical stakes become the ultimate scarcity.
That's a great point.
Human limitation. The fact that Wemby might roll his ankle, or that a world-class striker might succumb to the pressure and sky the ball over the crossbar, that human frailty is becoming the most valuable luxury good in our culture. We crave the one thing AI cannot produce.
Genuine, uncalculated risk.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the final two posts on The Wire today. Two drastically different perspectives on how to maintain your sanity while the world tries to digitize everything.
We all need some sanity right now.
First, at Trunked Fan, highlighted Conan O'Brien's satirical LinkedIn profile.
This was so good.
Conan lists his job as CEO at Conan, but under his test scores section, right, where someone would brag about their SATs, he lists his blood pressure as 120/80.
That is hilarious.
Just a brilliant, quiet joke. And then we have at Pontifex, the official account of Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope. He tweeted a message that true strength is only found in truth and love, and that peace begins in a loving heart.
It is incredibly rare to find two pieces of data that synthesize the exact same truth from such radically different vectors.
Right.
We spent this deep dive analyzing people bartering houses for pre-IPO stock, the market betting on a man's net worth hitting $1 trillion, and literal tech executives writing manifestos about building mechanical gods.
Exhausting.
The anxiety and the ego wrapped up in all of that are completely suffocating.
It's a treadmill that is accelerating so fast it's throwing people off.
So what Conan's satirical blood pressure brag and the Pope's message are both pointing out is that the ultimate flex right now isn't a $1.75 trillion valuation.
No.
It's not holding early anthropic equity. The ultimate flex is maintaining a 120/80 blood pressure. It is finding actual grounded peace.
I love that.
If you let the distortion field of Silicon Valley dictate your reality, you will burn out. True strength isn't algorithmic control over the market. It's the ability to step away from the screen, reject the frenzy, and maintain your humanity.
That is a phenomenal note to ground us after a deeply weird news day. Before we sign off, based on the data we've come through, especially the AI real estate barter and the Okta ad buys, what is your specific prediction for the market tomorrow? Where is this all heading?
I am looking directly at the liquidity crunch. My prediction is this. Watch for a massive sudden explosion in secondary market liquidity platforms.
Interesting.
You have an entire generation of cash-poor tech workers who are staring at the broken human systems we talked about, and they are desperately trying to monetize their paper wealth before these IPO windows close or the massive incumbents crush them.
And the app.
The pressure cooker is full, and that equity has to find an outlet. We are going to see a boom in financial infrastructure designed entirely to liquefy those private shares.
The shadow economy is about to step fully into the light. Fascinating. So think about the last time you were evaluated by an algorithm or forced to use a system that didn't quite make sense. We want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. If AI really is making us incredibly productive, like that 70-hour math run on Codex, but we are still using fundamentally broken, biased human systems to hire and evaluate each other, will AI actually fix our bottlenecks? Or is it just going to automate and scale our blind spots?
You might be the most important question we face in the next decade.
Thank you so much for joining us and exploring the wire today. Stay grounded out there, and thank you for tuning into the Daily Vibecasting.
We'll see you tomorrow.